right, we're finally on the road, heading over to Florida. We're still in Texas right now. I've been driving a few hours, but it was pretty dark, so I didn't want to like film this intro for you guys when you probably couldn't see anything. So also trying a little bit new of a kind of a camera angle. This is actually the first time using one of my new lenses, so we'll kind of see how it looks. But we're finally on the road. Things are not quite going exactly how I wanted them to, which I'm gonna get into this video. It's gonna be a little personal actually. So far though, in terms of logistics, it's been okay. Personally, I feel exhausted, but I wanna go more in depth in the car driving just to kind of like get you guys caught up to speed on everything. And so we just got some gas. There's a Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna get some Chick-fil-A breakfast real quick. And then we're gonna get into my thoughts on everything because like I said, it isn't exactly going as well as I expected. Okay, this is the first time I'm running my actual camera, like my Sony ZV-E10 in my car facing me. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's not too weird. I don't love how I look on camera, but hopefully this is okay. Some crazy drivers out in Lindale, Texas, okay? Almost want to put this on my seatbelt, but whatever. And then you guys can see Kaya in the background. She's on the road. She's panting a little bit. We just took her out. She got some water, so she's doing pretty good right now. But I don't think she's, I'm gonna go this way. I don't think she's ever been or going to be in a car for this long. I think the most she's ever done is maybe like 4 hours, but she'll be all right. As long as she's with a human, she does okay. We're always just panting. We got our Chick-fil-A right up here. All right, you guys, we're on the road. I just finished some delicious Chick-fil-A, which is making me feel better. So first things first, I need to complain to you guys before I really complain to you guys. So this is gonna be kind of like, I don't wanna say like a sad video, but let me just hear me out, okay? So, first of all, driving the Mustang, this is literally heaven on earth. Like, this is so nice because what I did is, today is Wednesday, but on Sunday, I picked up my 16-foot rental truck, had that loaded from my apartment in Texas, drove it to Florida, straight through the night, and then had it unloaded to my new apartment. But driving that truck for 16 hours was probably the worst 16 hours I've ever experienced in my entire life. It was so bad. Just constant road noise, screams, shrieks, rattles, all coming from the car. When I say car, really it's a truck, but you guys know what I mean. But the truck was literally a torture device, okay? Like, I don't even know how to explain, I don't know how to put into words just like how bad driving that truck was. It was like, the seating position is terrible. So you sit upright, there's absolutely no adjustment, but your back is literally vertical. There's no way to actually like lean back, stretch your legs. I'm a pretty tall person, so it wasn't, it just felt extremely cramped. The steering wheel like was literally probably 4 inches from my chest. So my arms were always at like no less than a 45-degree angle the entire drive. It was just terrible. And also, what's really scary is that truck would never go faster than 76. 76 miles an hour was its absolute top speed. Like, I think it was probably electronically limited or something, but I could never get the truck faster than 76 miles an hour. And that's pretty scary, okay? Like, it sounds okay, like that's, about highway speeds, but like when you're on the highway and everybody's doing 90 miles an hour, you're going a meaningful amount slower than them. And that was so miserable. Like, I would like start like queuing up cars behind me if they couldn't pass. And then finally, when there was another opening, everybody was just zooming around me and I felt so bad. Okay, and then also the steering and the transmission were absolutely schizophrenic. Like they were psycho. So I mean, I've been driving like pretty cool cars, pretty low, you know, fun cars for quite a while now in my life, and I never really appreciated how true they stay on track without really much effort. I just hit a pothole. I thought it was gonna be way worse. Actually, it wasn't that bad. But anyways, so like with the Mustang, okay, you can take your hands off the steering wheel. One, it's also positioned pretty well where it's right next to my knees, so I can use my knees to guide it. I know it's not the safest thing ever, but you know, at times you do need to just take your hands off the wheel for a second. Even still, the car is very determined in its path. I know there's some tires that can tram line a little bit. Luckily, the tires that I have on, the Pirelli P0s in the front, they don't tram line, at least not that I noticed. They're really not bad, but the car stays very much dedicated to its path. Maybe it starts going left, maybe it starts going right, but super easy to fix. And just genuinely really, really easy to drive compared to that truck. Now with that truck, it was, like I said, the steering was absolutely schizophrenic. So it would like go left, it would go right, maybe both at the same time. You never knew what it was gonna do. If you took your hands off the wheel for a second, just like what I just did, it would literally just dart left or right or both. Like it was genuinely dangerous feeling. I hated it. I would have thought like such a big heavy truck would stay pretty determined in its path, kind of like how my Mustang does. Not even close. Not even close. That thing will roll you over if you blink for too long. It is seriously a scary thing to drive. I never want to drive a truck like that. For all you truck drivers out there, like serious props to you guys for being able to do such long car rides or truck rides in cabins like that, okay? Now, this car it literally just feels like a treat because I didn't have CarPlay, I didn't have navigation, everything was off my phone. It was literally so loud in the cabin that I couldn't just play music or play a podcast off of my phone. I had to put AirPods in for the AirPods to actually noise cancel the entire environment. And by environment, I mean the entire hell screeching that the truck would make, and then I could actually hear what I was listening to. And then I'm in this Mustang, and it's just such a delight. Like obviously and you guys have commented about it before in this car, there's definitely some drone, okay? But compared to that truck, the drone, the exhaust drone, here I'll kind of emphasize it there a little bit. Maybe, hopefully you guys picked it up on video. But the drone, it is such a beautiful harmonic, okay? It's a great background tone. It lets you feel and lets you know that the car is alive. It's not a totally numbed down, kind of like anemic luxury car. Like, oh my God, how much I appreciate a graceful exhaust tone with a nice harmonic that comes from this Gen 4 Coyote. Seriously, I'm never gonna complain about exhaust drone ever again after that truck. Literally, it just screeched and screamed. Oh, I gotta pay attention real quick. Looks like I gotta get over. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, but that truck, it just screeched, it screamed. It was literally the worst experience in terms of a 16-hour period I've ever had in my life. And I feel like I've had some pretty bad experiences, but that truly was so bad. It was so bad. And being in this car is just so much better. Like, I will never complain about, I will never complain about the noises or the small little rattles or the squeaks that sometimes come from my rear suspension ever again in this car, because it is such a delight compared to the hell on earth that 16-foot box truck was. And two, you just have like really nice features, like a beautiful dash to look at, a very large navigation screen. Obviously you guys can't, you're facing me here, but you know, a good sound system. Like, oh my God, it was so much better. Like I wanted to like kind of put this car more to the test in terms of a road trip. Like, okay, this I didn't like, this was annoying, that like everything just feels so much better compared to that truck. So I cannot give it an unbiased view anymore, just because of the torture that box truck put me through. So we're about 3 hours in. Yeah, 3 hours in, 13 to go. And I'm just like in a moment of peace with this thing. So that has been the road trip experience so far, to catch you guys up on that. Also, Kaya, as you guys can see, is in the background, just kind of staring at me as I'm talking. She doesn't know what I'm talking to, but she's doing all right there. She's a really easy road trip girl. Like, she doesn't complain too much. She just kind of sits there and just looks at me. I can tell she doesn't love it, but you know, every 3 hours we'll get out. She'll get some food, she can go to the bathroom, she'll get some water, and then just walk around a little bit, just so she can stretch her legs and kind of do some quick sprints back and forth on whatever grass patch that we can find. But she's doing pretty good. So that's Kaya. I think I've had her in maybe 1 or 2 of my other videos before, but she's a Sheltie, so she's along for the drive, which also makes this a little bit better, knowing that I have her with me. But okay, I need to talk to you guys about something that's a little embarrassing, okay? And I'm like thinking about who might watch this video. My mom knows everything because she's been kind of helping me through it all. But like my friends and other family who are gonna watch this video, or who might watch it, I'm like kind of embarrassed, but I don't know. I'll just get into it. So when I got to Florida Monday morning, I was obviously completely miserable from that drive through the night in that truck. I just wanted to go to the hotel, get some sleep, but I still had to like get my keys, do all that apartment stuff. I had, you know, meet the loaders, which fortunately they were pretty much on time, but had the loaders come in, unload the truck into my new apartment. And as they were doing that, I was kind of like setting up the apartment. At least I set up my bed, so when I get there tonight, I can just go and crash out. But speaking of crashing out, once the loaders finished unloading everything from my truck, I got like this extreme feeling of homesickness. Like, the apartment was all unloaded. I'm just sitting on my couch. Again, just feeling miserable from that whole road trip. I had not slept in like 30 hours. So I was like genuinely just feeling like wholly miserable. And I think that might have contributed to like the homesickness, but like I genuinely got so homesick, like anxiety attack levels of homesick. And if you guys don't know this about me, I'm kind of an anxiety prone person, unfortunately. I probably talked to you guys a little bit on some past videos, but I definitely do get anxiety. It is something I deal with. But on Monday when I got there, the homesickness and the anxiety was just like extreme. It was so bad. I like got to the hotel, still just like in my panic attack mode. And I called my mom and like told her everything, and I just felt so embarrassed. I like made this huge decision to move here, and like I just have this intense feeling of like I just want to go back. I just want to move back to Texas, but I'm stuck. I'm trapped. I just moved all my stuff. Like, what do I do? Like, it's just a super uncomfortable feeling. But I think there's like probably 2 things that really contributed to that. One pretty short term, one is a long term thing that I'm gonna have to solve, which I'll get into in a second. I think the first thing was just really that road trip in that truck that literally put me in the worst mood, in the worst headspace. I had not, like I said, I drove all through the night, so I didn't sleep at all. So that probably didn't help. 2, now the second thing, and I think this is probably really what did it. Hold on, gotta take a drink. And the second thing that I think made me so homesick is my apartment. And this is kind of the embarrassing part. I did as much research as I could. I'd never been to Tampa, so literally just kind of raw dogging it. Like, I just found a place that looked decent for, you know, really good rent, and it's like, you know what, this seems like good, and if I don't like it, I'll just move in a year. It's not that big of a deal. But I think it's my apartment complex. It was I don't know, I don't want to sit here and insult my new apartment, but it was pretty gross. It's like a big complex, but it like gives you the impression it's run down. People just have all their trash outside of their apartments. They don't seem to really enforce any rules. People treat it like it's like their home, I guess, because like there's a bunch of people just like out there walking around shirtless who should not be shirtless. I'm not talking about like they're at the pool. I'm talking about like 400 pound human beings walking around outside shirtless, which is like really just grossed me out. I know I'm like fat shaming here a little bit, but if you're like 300 or 400 pounds and you live in an apartment complex, like, put your shirt on, okay? Like, that was just really gross. There's people who are leaving their apartments, entering and exiting their apartments that literally look like homeless people who were on drugs. Like, you guys know when you go to like a downtown city or whatever, and there's like people who are like tweaking out. Those are like the people that were like living there. Like, it like literally looked like heroin addicts. The way they were like walking, like, I know that sounds so insulting, okay? And I'm not trying to be like insulting of people, but good God, was it like weird to just like walk to my apartment and she's like giving me a tour, and like literally people look like they're on like hardcore class 2 narcotics. It was like, where the hell did I just move to? I don't like this. And then I get to my apartment and it's okay. Like, the inside's okay. But they were like, they definitely just did pest control in there. And I know no apartments are going to be perfect, but like I found like 3 or 4 dead cockroaches in the apartment. Now, I guess you could say that's pest control working, but you kind of have to clean up all the nastiness before you let somebody move in. So I was like picking up dead ass cockroaches from the floor and flushing them down the toilet. And it was just like one of the worst impressions I've ever gotten moving somewhere. And I think that's what like hit like where the homesickness came from, like the majority of it. Like, I just moved in, I literally hate it here. Okay, like, it's disgusting. The people are gross. It feels like everybody's on drugs around me. Like, this is not a place I like to live, and I am trapped here for a year. So I think that's just like, that's what caused like that crash out that I had. So I got to the hotel, I was FaceTiming my mom, and I was like walking around, and there's like beautiful, beautiful neighborhoods where I was like walking around the hotel that everything just looks so nice. I was like, okay, Tampa is a really nice place. I just picked a really bad neighborhood with a really bad apartment complex. So I was talking to my mom, and also the next morning too, waiting for my flight back to Texas. And we were kind of like, you know what, maybe what we should try to do. And my mom's like the best mom ever. She's like, she wants to help me with all this stuff. So she was like, you know, what if what we do is I'm going to call them and see if we can break out of your lease. Now, there's probably going to be a buyout. Like, if they may ask for like a 2 or 3 month buyout of the lease, you know, whatever it is, 2 or 3 months rent or something. But in the lease contract, there's nothing stated about early termination. It just says, yeah, if you leave, you're just simply on the hook for all rent that you have to pay for your, you know, your contract. So something will definitely have to be negotiated. I know there's like some leases that are like, you know, they'll tell you what an early termination thing will cost. You know, usually it's like 1 to 2 months of buyout. My lease unfortunately doesn't have that, so she's going to try to talk to them and try to negotiate something, work something out. Now, the good thing is my rent's like $980 or something. So say I do have to buy out my rent, you you know, 3 months, say it's 3 months, kind of worst case, you know, that's a little under $3,000, which is a lot. That's a lot of money to throw away. That would suck, but if that gets me out of that apartment and, you know, a nicer apartment somewhere else, I will happily take that deal. But that's kind of where we are right now. I'm traveling back to my new apartment in Tampa. I'm kind of bracing a little bit, like emotionally bracing. I'm not like super looking forward to getting there. It's my new apartment, but I don't know. It kind of is what it is. We'll take it one step at a time. I think that would be like best case scenario is they let me buy out and then I go find a much better area with a much better complex, and I'm okay with paying more rent if it gets me out of my current situation, then I'll be happy with that. Now, another thing I want to tell you guys, I totally get how privileged this sounds. I promise you the irony is not lost on me. Like, it's kind of easy to look at, like, wow, you're driving your $60,000 Mustang and you can move anywhere you want to move, and you made a bad decision. That's kind of your fault. You own it. Like, you shouldn't be asking to get out. I get it, okay? I get it. So roast me in the comments, you guys. You're more than welcome to. But if I just hate it there, and if they let me buy out or get out of it in some way, somehow, I'm going to take that deal, because I do not want to stay there a year. But I'm trying to tell myself one step at a time, you know, kind of take it as it comes. So that's where we are now. But yeah, the homesickness was like genuinely one of the worst feelings ever, because I've never felt homesick like that since like my years in the Marine Corps, when I left Minnesota and got to boot camp. So yeah, it was just so bad, like genuinely so bad. And like the feeling was like, oh, I just want to go back to Texas. And then I kind of realized, like, no, I don't want to go back to Texas. That was just like that immediate visceral feeling of not liking where I was. So yeah, going back to Texas, I don't think that's the correct move. I mean, I feel like there's like beautiful places to be in Tampa and like a really good life there. It just isn't in my complex, and it isn't in that neighborhood. So if we can fix that, and fix that pretty quick, I think I'll be really, really happy with Tampa, finding a new place in just a much better part of town. So yeah, that's kind of where everything went wrong with this move so far. We're gonna take it as it comes, one step at a time. My mom's actually gonna be calling me here pretty soon, because she's gonna get in contact with the leasing office and see if there's like something we can negotiate. I don't feel like most apartment complexes I like really want to hold people hostage. Like, I get it, it's a lease, but I think there's still a way where they can benefit with a 3-month buyout or something like that, where they're covered for 3 months while they search and try to find a new tenant. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just take it as it comes. But that's where we are right now. So I'm gonna get back on the road, you guys. I will catch up with you guys in a little bit here. All right, you guys, we're about 4 hours into the drive. We're somewhere in Louisiana. We stopped to get some gas, chill out a little bit. Kaya gets to stretch her legs out a little bit and then also get some water. So it's not too bad in terms of driving. Like I said before, this is so much better than that crap truck that I was driving, which is literally, I felt like the truck was literally trying to kill me like 90% of the drive. So this has been like such a dream. And again, I wanted to be like really specific on road tripping a car like this, because there are some aspects about it that can be kind of harsh. Like the ride's a little harsh. Sometimes it gets a little noisy inside the cabin, just with engine drone and stuff like that. But it is so much better than the truck I was driving 3 days ago. So it's like so hard to complain about this car. Like literally it is like perfect. It's not really perfect, but compared to what I came from, it's such a dream. So we're gonna get back on the road probably in like a minute or two. I kind of want to give Kaya a little bit more time to just be a dog, because she's been sitting in the back seat and I kind of feel bad for her doing that, but at least we have some time and some grass to let her roam a little bit. But I'm gonna catch you guys back on the road here in a second. All right, you guys, we're back on the road. We got got some like kind of twisty turns up here that I would really love to be super spirited driving through, but we have Kaya back here, as you guys can see, and I don't want to like torture her. And she's like kind of fastened down, but she's like in a little like crate carrier thing, but it's not really tied to a seat, so I don't want to absolutely abuse my dog, so I'm going to be relatively gentle driving through these roads, but kind of nice. One thing I noticed this when I was did my first drive to Florida in the truck, is you get off the highway for a while and you take like back roads, which is what we're doing right now. So this is definitely a really nice change of scenery. Definitely needed this from the 4-hour monotonous highway drive. Yeah, these would be really fun roads to take the car on. I just, like I said, I don't want to torture Kaya in the back. She's panting her face off because I don't think she loves all the turning motions, but yeah, definitely a good change of drive here. And we're coming up behind a concrete truck, so definitely couldn't even go fast if we wanted to. So maybe I just pass him. I don't know. I mean, he's going with the speed limit, so I shouldn't complain too hard. But yeah, I'm like trying to like wrap my head around still like having to move again if that is the route I want to decide. Not staying in my new apartment and finding another place to live in Tampa, because I just don't want to stay in that nasty apartment. It's just so gross. And I don't know if I told you guys, and I don't know if I told you guys this in the past clip or whatever, but I also found like a bunch of dead cockroaches that I had to pick up. Now I know like pest control's a thing, like most apartments have to do that, and that's fine. But after the pest control works, you kind of have to clean up the pests that are still there. So there's like 5 cockroaches I had to pick up that were all upside down. It was so gross. Like, yeah, just don't want to be in that apartment. Definitely invoked some feelings I did not want to feel. Such a nice back road. Now, I know I am going to be making a lot of trips back to Texas just for a bunch of things, for work, for personal, for a lot of things. I know I'm just going to be doing a lot of drives to and from Texas, especially the next year. And I don't mind putting miles on this car. Like, it's a Mustang GT. It's not like a specialty car, like a Shelby or anything. So putting miles on it isn't really a big deal to me. But I would kind of like to have another car, just more content to film, and kind of a dedicated road trip car that I wouldn't be too afraid to put a lot of miles on, which I would be doing with all these road trips. And if you guys are not new to the channel, you guys probably know what car that is, but my recent fixation, my next car that I really, really want to feature on the channel is a 1415 LS3 Camaro SS 1LE. And then I can also use that as like a track car, because that's always something I want to do, is to get into like track day driving, because this just would not do well on a track. It really wants me to pass this 2-lane highway. This is crazy. I guess I can stop at the median, but this is pretty insane. Yes, I guess that's what we'll do. Stop at the median. Okay, that wasn't actually that bad. There's like this like big 2-lane highway that I just had to get on that wanted me to cross like 3 lanes of traffic, but the median was like big enough where you can cross 2 of the lanes, sit in the median, and then wait for the cars in the other direction. I also didn't want to rip it super hard too on the acceleration. I only like revved it out to like 5,000 because of Kaya again. She's kind of been tortured enough the past few days. I don't want to abuse her anymore. And also we're running 93. I don't love to be on the car with just 93. I like to reserve that for my E30 blend, just to get some E85 in the system or some more ethanol in the system, and you know, advance timing a little bit, reduce the risk of detonation or knock. But like I've said before in past videos, the big plan too for this car that I want to do sooner rather than later is a fuel system so I can run fully 85, and then just really not have to worry about, you know, hurting the engine on lower tier grade fuel. So yeah, well, all right guys, we got 44 miles before our next exit on this highway, so I'm gonna sit back, listen to a podcast or something, try to pet Kaya a little bit so she feels a little bit better, and I'll catch you guys here in a second. All right, you guys, we're 9.5 hours out. We've been driving for probably about 5 hours now. We're starting to hit some rain, which is fine, but in this car, I don't love driving in the rain. I mean, it does just fine, but usually what I'll do, I'll just pull over to the right to the slow lane and then just kind of putz along, which I'm still doing like 70 miles an hour, but it does get noisy with the rain. I do have good news though. So, my mom called the apartment complex. I also called the apartment complex after, but my mom being the most amazing woman on earth, it looks like they're going to let me out of the lease. They're still working on the terms of that, but it seems pretty favorable, but still just kind of waiting for like a final and direct answer. They were saying, yeah, we probably can't give you like any money back, so my first month's rent and then the $500 security deposit, but at this point I'm like, keep it. Like if that's the worst case, then I'm totally okay with it. Again, still waiting on like a very super final answer, but yeah, so far it looks pretty good. So essentially what I would be doing is leaving my stuff in boxes and then just finding a new apartment. And I took a few days off, so I got some time before going back to work. Just some vacation time to like find a new place. So that's probably going to be my mission this weekend, is looking for a much better apartment that I actually want to stay at. So that's our current update while we're driving through some rain, which looks like it's finally dying down. But I definitely need to stop and get some food because I'm hungry. And for the past like 5 days, I feel like I've just been straight up injecting my body with sugar and grease, just like super unhealthy food. So I need to find something relatively healthy to eat because I just do not want more garbage. So I will catch up with you guys a little bit. All right, you guys, we made it into Florida finally. And actually, we're by a Gen 1 Coyote. But stopped at the gas station, probably for like the 10th time to get some gas. And then found some grass so Kai can actually pee and poop because she probably needs to do that. But I am so exhausted from driving so much these past like few days. But I'm like super happy right now that the apartment is gonna let me out of the lease. So I have that to look forward to. Although I do have to go find like a new apartment now, but I have all of June to do that. And as I'm filming this, it's June 1st. No, it's June 2nd. June 3rd. June 3rd is the day it is today. But that still leaves me plenty of time. So over the next few weekends, definitely gonna try to lock down a new apartment complex, one that I like in an area that I like. So that's kind of next on the list for me. But it's been like such a journey, and it's kind of crazy sometimes like what life takes you through, but sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches, and it is what it is. So, but that's where we're at right now. But it's just so nice to like be walking in some grass. Like I needed this so bad. And I'm sure Kai is really happy that she gets to do that too. She's having the time of her life. She's been trapped in a little, like, not a crate, but like a bag that she pokes her head out of for like the past 10 hours. And I feel so bad for this dog. Like, but if I let her loose from that, she goes like super crazy and just like jumps from seat to seat, to the front, to the rear. And it's just not really safe to drive like that. So, but all right, guys, after walking around a bit, I think we're maybe gonna stop at the McDonald's that's right here. Kind of want some ice cream and something to drink. So I will, I'll catch you guys on the road again. But at least we're in Florida. So this is where the majority of the driving is for the entire road trip from Dallas to Tampa. But at least we're in Florida. So we're in our last state, but I gotta drive all through the Panhandle and then down south to get to Tampa. So I will catch you guys later. Okay. We are 6 hours and 9 minutes away, which isn't technically true because we're gonna probably stop 2 or 3 more times for gas, food, and probably ice cream. I've been like craving ice cream on this trip, and I said I don't want to keep injecting myself with a bunch of sugar, but I really want some vanilla ice cream, so we're probably gonna stop for that. And then maybe Kai gets a pub cup somewhere. But we are in Florida now, so we gotta drive through the Panhandle, and then we gotta go down south to Tampa. It says I'm gonna get there at 12:08, which is not exactly true either, because once I go through Tallahassee, I'm gonna jump forward an hour. So it's gonna be more like 1:08, but after all these stops, it's probably gonna be like 2 or 2:30 a.m. Okay, like in the morning, 2:30, before I finally get to the apartment. So kind of sucks, but whatever. I'll just like go crash out. Well, crash out, but then pass out. And then once I wake up, we're gonna go do some exploring and kind of, I guess, some pseudo apartment hunting. I kind of want to look at areas and kind of figure out like which, I guess just areas that I want to live. Definitely not Eastlake, fuck that place. But I've heard like South Tampa's pretty good, International's pretty good. St. Pete would be really amazing, but I think St. Pete, just like in the main vicinity of it, would be pretty expensive. So I don't know, I guess maybe it's worth looking. I'll definitely drive through St. Pete because it looks like it's such a cool place. I don't know. Yeah, there's got to be some places I got to look at. So we're basically gonna be doing that tomorrow, and this will be my first kind of full day in Tampa with my car that I can just kind of go exploring and get myself to really like Tampa. So I'm gonna take Kaya with me on that day. She's gonna hate me for putting her back in the car, but we're gonna go to like a dog beach and do some walking trails. And oh, I feel so bad. I know she wants to like run and play, and she's just like sitting there panting, staring at me, and probably upset. She probably doesn't look upset on camera, but trust me, she is mad at me, okay, for putting her in the backseat of this car and making her stay there for like 16 hours. So I will catch you guys here in a little bit once we get closer. Hopefully this Panhandle Drive kind of flashes before us, and then yeah, I need ice cream. We need to stop for ice cream here soon. But anyways, I'll catch you guys here in a bit. Alright guys, it's starting to get kind of dark out. The sun is at least below the horizon, so I don't know how much more filming I'm going to be able to do, because you won't be able to see anything. I have my overhead car light on just to get this last bit, but I'm going to... But we have 4 hours left to go. It's almost 8 p.m. and it's about to turn 9 p.m. once I cross Tallahassee because of the time zone change. So I'm going to catch up with you guys tomorrow. We're going to do a little bit of exploring and try to kind of figure out, I guess, kind of what places I may want to live. So I'm going to go to really nice areas first, just because I want to see them. So I want to go to Clearwater, I want to go to St. Pete, and then downtown Tampa, or like South Tampa. Apparently that's pretty nice. Until now, good night. I will catch you guys sometime mid-afternoon, mid-morning. So see you then. All right guys, back with an update. It's been a few days in Tampa. Also, sorry for the weird camera angle. I'm actually on like a selfie stick right now. But it's been a few days in Tampa. Things are kind of settling down. I'm not quite sure what I have to do yet in terms of like a decision that I need to make. The apartment complex has actually been pretty open with everything. Like literally, they've been fantastic. Like they've kind of been just like, you know, whatever you guys need to do or whatever you want to do, we're totally open to it. I'm kind of learning to be, like I don't love the apartment complex, okay, to be perfectly honest with you guys. And I know it's such first world problems, I promise you, I get it. But I don't know, if I don't really feel super safe, especially like with my car and everything, I don't know if I really want to stay here. Maybe I just do like a few months or something and then kind of dip out and go do something else. Who's to say? But I don't know, the homesickness has kind of died down a bit. So that's a good thing. But yeah, that was kind of the road trip. That was everything, you know, kind of firsthand, everything that I was thinking. So I apologize to you guys that this is kind of like a sad video or whatever. But you know what? Like, we're here for the ride, and I'm happy to share with you guys everything that I'm kind of doing in life. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna start working on getting some other videos out for you guys. So just to keep the content rolling and kind of back into my kind of normal scheduling, normal kind of content stuff. But I appreciate you guys staying for the video. Thank you guys so much. Regardless of what's happening, I'm definitely excited for moving forward here in Tampa. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.